99.9 Punk World Radio FM. We're back with an Ottawa, Ontario, Canada legend. We got Randy back on the radio station of We Were Sharks and of course Young Bucks as well. Randy, how you doing this evening, man?
I'm doing great. Again, still a little sad from the Blue Jay loss, but hey, we're coping.
Yeah.
We're coping.
Yeah, I will admit I was hoping, man. I'm so sad too. I'm kind of like just surprised because we were doing so well. Went to Game 7. And once I saw that bat break, when the Jays bat broke, my heart broke at the same time.
I agree. Honestly, I think when he was called out at home and IKF didn't take that bigger lead, my heart broke as well. But at the start of that, when they got to the World Series, I said, I just want to see them again in the World Series. So the fact that they had a Game 7 against the highest payroll team and a team that's built to win World Series and our unlikely Blue Jays got that far and took them to Game 7. And let's be real, was the better team that whole series. And one play was one mistake to lose the game. I mean, we gotta keep our heads up. I hope they're keeping their heads up.
I hope so as well. I really do think we were the better team. I mean, I really do think that obviously we didn't win. So I know the LA people that are watching in California, please don't unsubscribe or stop listening. But we were the better team. Go Jays, go.
Yeah, let's be real. I mean, the Dodgers obviously won. So I mean, any kind of sports, luck works. Luck is part of the sport, man. We got lucky a few games. Let's be real. Springer got a little lucky getting that pitch to send us to the World Series. So, you can't take it away from the Dodgers, but I mean, man, proud of the Jays. We were the better team.
100%, man. Springer hit them dingers, bro. That's all I got to say. Springer hit them dingers.
Yeah, he did. I wish he would have came up and hit some dingers that game.
But I will say, though, I really feel like if that bat didn't break, I really think that ball would have actually went all the way out there and some fan would have went home with a Toronto Blue Jays World Series ball. That's all I'm going to say.
Unfortunately, we will never know, and I hope I'm wrong, but I think it's going to be another long time till you see the Jays back in the World Series. Nothing against them. They got that team, but I think everything lined up for them this year, and there's going to be a lot more teams hungry out next year, and I hope the Jays are just as hungry, even more.
The one thing I'm going to say to wrap it up, I want to say a saying that every single Toronto Maple Leafs fan says. This year is our year, but instead, I know the off season just started, so this coming year is our year.
I hope so, man. I hope you're right. I hope we're back here talking about this next year.
Hopefully, if it happens, we got to come back and do like a watch party or something.
That would actually be sick. I'm 100% down. Sign me up. You can watch me scream and cry and all that stuff. Like we set it up at the bars. We had a good time watching them games.
And Randy as well, because I do know, obviously, like last interview, we talked about a lot of stuff. I went back and listened to our first interview, and so I'm making sure I don't ask the same questions so we can have like a fresh interview. But I do know we didn't touch base on your other band a little bit. So before we dive directly into the We Were Sharks stuff, I want to ask you about the country rock band called Young Bucks that you're a part of. I was wondering if you could actually just tell us the story behind this band, and of course, how did you originally meet Tim and Roy?
So I've known Roy, man, for years. He was actually, we tried to get him into Sharks when We Were Sharks first started. Like he was one of the guys that we asked to join the band when we first started. I've known him for quite a long time. The thing was, with Sharks touring and doing all that kind of stuff, I kind of surrounded myself a lot with music, and it was hard to like work and leave for tour and then come back and work and not get fired for leaving all the time. And I was like, there's got to be something I can do, in, I want to say my craft. It's not really my craft, but something I want to do that I love, right? So Rory at the time was like, hey, why don't we do covers? Let's do covers. I started playing in the cover band. We should do covers. And I'm like, yeah, you think? He goes, yeah, we could be just booked up all the time. And Tim actually played in a punk rock band in Ottawa, who also played in, covers at the time as well. So he came out and seen us play because our drummer was moving to Montreal at the time, and he wasn't coming down as often. So we needed somebody from Ottawa because at the time we're playing Thursday, Friday, Saturdays, like constantly playing. So Tim was like, yeah, sure. This is the kind of vibe I like. So it just kind of like picked up, and I've been doing it now. I want to say over 10 years.
And I will admit, I've been a fan of We Were Sharks and yourself for a long time. So I always strive, even during interviews, I'll always tell the truth. I'm not one of the DJs that will say that I know something when I didn't. So I got to say, I did not know about the Young Bucks fully. I knew a little bit about it, but I didn't know it was actually you that was in it. So when I saw that, I was like, wow. I'm like, I was surprised, but I listened to the music and I was like, wow, like I'm not a country fan, but I definitely vibe to this.
Thank you, man. Yeah, it's a bunch of like punk rock guys that like country as well, and just I mean, I love all kind of music, but yeah, I mean, it pays the bills. So
And also as well, while I was doing my deep dive actually on this, I came across an old SoundCloud account that on September 30th, 2015, you released an original country song called Take the Back Road Home.
yeah.
Looking back 10 years ago, can you tell us a bit more about this song? And of course, will we ever hear this track being placed on a future Young Bucks record if it was like happen to be remastered?
I mean, quite possibly. I've been in the studio in this like I want to say I got back in the studio in like April and started recording some of the country stuff. Like when we're doing the Sharks writing, there's a lot of country things I try to like chuck in, and I don't mean to. It's just kind of who I am. I'm you know, I kind of like both styles of music, and it just kind of comes out. So there's a lot of stuff that I have in the country department that never made a Sharks album. So I got a lot of songs. So yeah, so probably it is something that I've been working on for man, yeah, 2015. Yeah, it's been it's been a long time, man. But never really truly released. But I think the last time we talked, I was in the studio doing that and really kind of putting effort into getting all that done up and eventually release sometime.
And I will say, listening to this song, I actually had to make sure I was asking the correct question on this because I heard the song, which is phenomenal, but I saw your name. It was spelt the same way. I saw Ottawa, but I'm like, is there a chance there's another Randy with the same name? Because I mean, it sounded so good. And then you listen to We Were Sharks and you hear the screaming and the different sound. And I'm like, I can't compare it voice wise, but I mean, that just shows how great you are in both genres of music.
Thank you very much, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, it is a completely different thing. I like to get the aggression out with the Shark Boys. They allow me to do that and get to do the country thing on my own thing. And it's been a lot of fun.
And also as well, you actually released a phenomenal album from We Were Sharks. And I have to say, you were part of the project Obscenity Prayer from Mystery Weekend. I was wondering if you can actually just tell us a bit more about that. Because I got to say, you did a phenomenal job on that one as well.
Thank you. So Jason, We Were Sharks guitar player, Jason Mooney, actually played with Mystery Weekend. So they were recording in Ottawa. They were doing the vocal stuff in Ottawa, and they were working with a very good friend of mine. He now lives in Greece. He records everything out in Greece. He does Parkway Drive as well. Dean, I butcher his last name, but Dean Hadjikuju, or he's gonna be so mad at me because I butcher it all the time. So he called me up to be like, hey, are you available to come in just to do some backup vocals and like gang vocals and stuff? And I was like, absolutely, anytime, you know. And it was a lot of fun hanging out with those boys, and we were kind of just sitting around and. I had the headphones on, just kind of doing a couple of like just gang vocal tracks, and I could really hear something in that song, and I'm like, he kind of like buzzed me, and he's like, if you want to do it, I'm like, I'm not stepping on anybody's toes, and Rody was there, and he's like, just go for it, man, and I was like, thank you, and that part came to be. I mean, it's nothing really. They're amazing, and I was really privileged to be able to be in the studio at the time, and they let me kind of just hop on the track. So big shout out to them.
It definitely was a phenomenal track, man. It's a great surprise as well when you listen to the album. And if you don't like, some people don't even read the booklet or even look at the credits. They just listen to the album. So if there's We Were Sharks fans that were listening to that album, they'd keep listening and be like, wait, that's a different singer, you know? So it's always a great surprise definitely. When you hear some of your favorite singers on those records.
Oh man. I mean, Rody killed it from Protest to Hero. He's one of the best to do it. So it was an honor for him to just even allow me to sing a part. I had a blast, you know? So yeah, he's one of the best to do it. Absolutely incredible album. They're the best. I wish they'd come back and play more shows, you know? That would be really cool. I would love to come and watch.
And also maybe get on stage and perform that song as well, since your vocals were on it, you know?
I mean, even just getting to watch is a blast. Those guys are the best.
And also, one of my favorite EPs that We Were Sharks actually released is called "Not a Chance," where you guys dropped that on Panic State Records. Looking back, I was wondering if you can actually just tell us a bit more about the story behind this amazing album, and are there any plans maybe in the future to actually remaster and re-release an anniversary edition for this project?
Yeah, that album, man, that was so long ago. I'm trying to think. That was like we kind of were like we got back from tour, and a couple of the guys in the band at the time decided that it was time for them to part ways with the band, and I understood, like it's people grow up, right? They want to do other things. And I remember we already had a few songs written for it, and we're like, what are we gonna do with it? And like, hey, let's go do an album. And I remember going in, we grabbed a couple more guys, members to like take their spots and grow the We Were Sharks family. And I remember going into the studio and we're like pounding that out. And one of the songs is called "Not a Chance in Halifax," which is about us breaking down in Halifax. And we were like totally stranded. The axle from our van fell out, and we were like, it was very expensive. We left it at the skate park down in Halifax for like 3 or 4 days before we could replace it. And then we got back. So "Not a Chance" was just kind of like at that moment writing these songs when there was like, we were still trying out guys to take spots of these guys that left. We were just like, man, not a chance this album's ever going to be made, like this is never going to happen. We just, and I actually say in that song, if it wasn't for bad luck, we'd have no luck at all. And that's kind of been the Sharks model. That's been our battle cry. If it wasn't for, no luck, we wouldn't have any luck at all. But with that being said, we've also been pretty damn lucky. But yeah, it seems like sometimes we get kicked a lot when we're down. But yeah, that album we never thought was going to get made, and it did, and we're like, not a chance. And big shout out to Panic State for grabbing us. That was huge. That gave us the motivation to put it out and keep running.
And I know Bridge Burner as well actually became such a mega hit from this record as well, which is crazy judging by the circumstances. You were sitting there in Halifax, broken axle, not knowing how to get home. At this point, everyone's tired, probably grumpy, just what the hell's going on.
Man.
To finally dropping this album and then having something like Bridge Burner just absolutely blow up the scene.
Which was crazy because we were like, okay, this sounds cool, but none of us thought that was like the song. Like none of us at all thought that was going to be the song off the album to do what it did. And like we'd be on the road and we could see when it was starting to like really, really pick up the steam because more kids were coming out, and like around the end of the tour, more kids were coming out, and these kids were going off. And I'm like, there's got to be something up. And our manager's like, yeah, congratulations, they hit 1 million plays. And we're like, okay, something's up. All right. But yeah, no, honestly, none of us ever expect. I never expected that in a million years.
Was there any song off this album actually that you sat back and thought like this is the one aside from Bridge Burner?
I don't know. I don't think I ever have, honestly. If I'm being honest, we kind of just write and we're like, hey, this sounds really good. Like, we're proud of this. Let's put it out. I don't think I've ever sat back and been like, oh, this is a jam. This is a jam. Like, if you ask me what my favorite song off that album is like the remake to How to Lose Your Cool. Like, we sped it up and skate punked it up, and it kind of reminds me of Slick Shoes. So for me, that song is like the jam, but not necessarily because I thought it was going to pop out or like, to go off. It was just a song that I was really proud of because I'm like, man, this is the music that I like to make.
And also, speaking of like spicing up a song as well and putting your own a new vamp on it, January 5th of 2018 on the album Lost Touch, one of the songs is actually called Ashley, that is 1 minute and 23 seconds long. But I also read a little deeper that the song that actually ended up on the album is indeed not the original, and that you guys hesitated to put it out for years. What ultimately made you guys ponder the idea of putting out Ashley for so long?
Is it Ashley? I'm trying to think. Man, okay, let's Lost Touch was such a crazy different experience to make. I don't think I've ever, now we write all our stuff like that and like everything goes down like that, but Lost Touch was for me having Paul Mark Russo from Silverstone come in and like be a part of it, and Sam Guyana, which was just like there was like so much going on and there was so much work. It was the first time I was just like, whoa, this is crazy. This is how albums are made. Like, like just like there's so much vibing, but there was so much work. There was like, I I don't remember if I'm trying to think. Maybe the guys showed me actually like music wise before, and I just never really clicked in my head that it was something they've been showing me. But there's a lot of times where like they'll bring me back stuff, and I'm like, oh, this is a really cool song. They're like, yeah, we showed you 1,000 times. Like Ashley Part 2, that riff, that intro riff. Jason's been playing that song now since I met him, like 2013.
Because I think I read something like where like they didn't. I like I said, this is what I read, but it was like from what I read earlier was like I think one of you guys actually thought that it might have been like too short of a song to really kind of have on the album, and it wasn't a good look or something like that. Is what I read.
It could be. I don't know. I could tell you that one didn't come from me. The shorter, the faster, the better. Over here, me and Will, the shorter, the faster, the better. We love that stuff.
And it's also great to get the crowd moving as well, man. It's a great show opener.
It's fun. Like that's a fast one. It's fun. It's a lot of fun to do that one.
And I will say on Lost Touch, I know I said this during the first interview we actually did in the first conversation, but Beyond Repair, man, is probably my absolute favorite We Were Sharks track, man. I find just when you guys did that live a few weeks ago was phenomenal, but just the opening of that album, it sucks you right in, man. It doesn't give you a chance to go away, man. It sucks you right in and you want more.
I'm happy to that was the plan. I mean, it was something that was really different to us in that kind of sense. We never really had a song like that, so it was scary for me, but it was nice because I'm like, we're growing. We don't want to just put out the same songs or the same albums every time.
And also for a little while there, We Were Sharks kind of had a little bit of a hiatus, but you guys are back in 2025 and you guys are absolutely tearing up, not just the Ottawa scene, but just the music scene in general, man. This past July, Daughtry at RBC Blues Fest here in Ottawa. I got to ask, man, what was it like just being back on stage with the guys and performing on one of, if not the biggest stage here in the nation's capital?
Absolutely insane. To be honest with you, I tried my best not to think about it. We just took it as another show, but like it wasn't just another show. It was like I remember getting off that stage and just being like, okay, boys are back. It was just one of those things we needed to do. But yeah, it was unreal, man. I don't think words can really describe that. Like it was just, and I think just not playing shows for such a long time, and then like, hey, you want to come play Blues Fest? Here's Daughtry and Papa Roach. We're like, oh, excuse me, So it was just one of those things that just it kind of re-energized us, if that makes sense. If that makes sense at all, it kind of just like boosted us back up.
Well, it definitely does make sense because I kind of look at people that are listening back home as well, kind of think about it from your guys' perspective, right? You guys were kind of on a hiatus for a little bit. Like you guys never broke up. You guys were on hiatus doing your own thing. You were doing Young Bucks. Yeah. So it just shows that the impact that you guys made, not just the music industry, but your community here in the nation's capital of Ottawa. I mean, you're on a hiatus, all doing different projects and own things. And then RBC calls you up and was like, hey, we want you on the stage with Daughtry and Papa Roach. Right then and there, it kind of makes you guys have that light bulb and go, wait, like we've been gone doing our own thing. And now you guys want us over there. So it kind of just is a mind blower. Just it kind of makes you realize how big and how great you guys truly are.
I wouldn't necessarily say big or great, but I appreciate that. We just kind of do our thing, man, and we've been lucky enough to have a lot of people, fight for us and be a part of this. Like we've been really, really, truly blessed. Like I said, if it wasn't for bad luck, we'd have no luck. But we have the best people on our team and the best people that come out and support us. We really, really, truly do. But after we got that, we got asked for the Teenage Bottle Rocket one, which was also. We're like, okay, I guess we're fully back. I guess maybe it's time for us to write some new songs.
And speaking of the Teenage Bottle Rocket, because I know that's where we actually met up and whatnot. But but that being said, you went on the whole tour, not just Ottawa. You were touring all across Canada with Teenage Bottle Rocket. I was wondering if you can actually just tell us your most memorable moment and memory you have of that tour. And of course, what was it like just touring, man? Because I can only imagine being on the road with Teenage Bottle Rocket, because they're great guys, but they're also crazy too, in a good way.
And we were lucky. A band Full Throttle hopped on because we had no idea, right? And we seen they were on, and man, they were also incredible. Those dudes are amazing. London, Ontario boys, So that was really cool, and they matched. They did all their Ontario dates with us, and they matched that vibe perfectly. So big shout out to them, and they were great. But yeah, Teenage Bottle Rocket. Yeah, those guys are great, man. I got a little sick on the tour. I was losing my voice, and they were giving me magic stuff to like bring it back. I've been like, they're like these German little lozenger kind of things, and they like pop my voice back real quick. So big thanks to them. Party wise, I mean, every night we just kind of like got to chill and like pick the brains on stuff and got to hang out with everybody. And I think that was like a big thing. It's such a big community. They've been doing it for so long. They got so much respect in that. So it was really, really nice to be out with them. They treated us incredible, and it was just a blast. But being back on the road was really nice. we were like kids again. I mean, 41, I'm not a kid anymore, but we felt like kids again. It was great.
I mean, especially people like Teenage Bottle Rocket, man, they definitely can make you feel like kids again. Because like even as a spectator in the crowd, man, I don't even know how they did it. I think it was like 25 songs, and then people were chanting for an encore. It went to like 30 songs, and I'm like, these guys aren't even, excuse my language, fucking human. They're not human.
That was every night. Those boys did that every night, and that's mad respect to them. Yeah, they did that every night. It was amazing to watch.
I got to say, it definitely was amazing to watch. I will admit, I jumped in the mosh pit a couple times.
Oh yeah.
Did not. I will admit, after I think a third mosh pit, I'm like, you know what? I'm too old for this. My buddy Dylan's 21, and like it was his first punk rock show. So okay. I fed him a few beers, got him a little tipsy, and he was dying. Well, you met him. He's a tiny little twig.
Yeah.
Respectfully, I love the guy, but he's tiny, so he just was diving in the pit. People were swinging and punching, and I'm like, oh my god, he's gonna fucking die. Like I thought he was gonna die, dude. So I told him, like, look, man, you got to learn to walk before you can run, dude. Like, just look at the mosh pit and make sure there's like people aren't actually angry, because some people get pushed and they start swinging. I'm like, you will die in there.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. No, everybody that came out to all those shows, the Teenage Bottle Rocket fan base, they're super respectful people. We hope our fan base is also very respectful. So nobody's dying in that pit. It's all love.
But also, man, as you mentioned, new music, and I know you kind of gave me a little bit of the rundown there at that La Chat in Ottawa. But with that being said, from what you are allowed to talk about, you're back in the studio right now with one of the members of Silverstein. He's working with you to create a brand new We Were Sharks record. I was wondering if you could tell us a bit more about what can the listeners expect when this does get completed and released.
So when we started, we're doing it a little different. He's a busy man right now. Silverstein, they're heading out on another tour real soon. They actually might already be gone, if I'm being honest with you. So we kind of just like did what we normally do, just try to like write together and kind of do that kind of thing, just vibe out together on the song. So unfortunately, he won't be in the studio with us this time. But yeah, we're if I'm right, I mean, I'm losing track of my days. Busy man. But I'm pretty sure we're in the studio next week to start this off, and it's going to be a little different than we normally do. Like before, we kind of just sit and bang out a full album. I think on this, we kind of make the rules on this one. We kind of make the rules on this one. So we will have some new songs. I don't know if we're gonna try to bang them all at once or how it's gonna go, but it's a different vibe on this one. The songs are just growing from new low. We've taken some time off from writing songs, so I went through quite a bit of stuff in the last 5 years. We all have, right? So I want to say there's a lot to say. There's a lot to say, and we'll be up to our normal antics. We do kind of the stuff we do, and you can expect that on this album and on these songs we're going in to do. But yeah, we have a little more to say. There's been a lot of time that's passed, and it's been a while. It's been a while.
But as the old saying goes, good things come to those who wait. And I think, as I can speak for the rest of the fans as well, that it's been a long time coming for new We Were Sharks music, but it's definitely going to be well worth it.
I mean, we're excited. I hope people are excited too. You never know with these things. You never know, and we've been lucky, and you know we have a great team behind us, and not much more I could say about that. We just have that team that we've been lucky. I may have said, but we're not lucky, but we've been pretty lucky.
Well, I mean, sometimes luck runs out, and then you're not lucky, and then you're lucky again when the luck comes back. You know, sometimes you have a golden horseshoe shoved up your butt, and sometimes you don't.
Hey, we ain't all the LA Dodgers, you know.
Yeah, that was pure luck. I mean, honestly, I feel like we could just have a whole just conversation and interview on that, man. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm still upset about that.
It is funny though, because one of the first songs we started working on, me and Paul were talking about the Blue Jays. They weren't obviously in the World Series yet, but how they were supposed to be the underdog against New York, you know. And we kind of like took that into a song. We brought that up and we kind of took that into a song. So one of the songs kind of has that kind of vibe to it. So the Jays were brought up, and we were talking baseball when we started writing some of these songs.
So I know you can't dig too deep into the lyrics, obviously, but is the Jays reference actually in this song? Like, is the Jays and Yankees referenced?
No, there's no Jays and Yankees reference in the song. I mean, maybe something new. I'll give maybe a little shout out, but like, yeah, I obviously you can tell I'm a huge baseball guy. Hockey, I'll watch it, but it is not my thing. But baseball has definitely always been my thing. Before music was baseball.
Were you a Montreal Expos fan as well when they were in Montreal, or were you always Jays?
Always Jays. Always Jays. I remember the 90, 92, 93, you know, like, man, one of my core memories, I was 9 years old when they won the last World Series.
All I got to say is Joe Carter, the GOAT.
Maybe
that's all you got to say, man.
Maybe new Sharks album, Joe Carter. We just call it Joe Carter.
You know what? And to make sure you have that World Series picture where he hit, right before he hit that, we made the hit. And then on the back, put the famous quote. You know what I mean?
Touch them all. Touch them all. Maybe just call the album Touch Them All. Well, I don't know if we should do that.
But I will admit, though, man, because I do know as well, you talked a little bit about the previous interview, the Young Bucks. And I don't mean to go back to the Young Bucks briefly, but I do know last interview in May, you were in the studio, you were working on it. So since we are on the topic of new music, how is the process of the Young Bucks, first Young Bucks record coming along? And of course, when can we actually expect that?
Honestly, I have no idea. I have no idea when we could expect any of that. Like I said, I've been sitting on songs since like 2015, so who knows? I'd like to get it out sometime in the new year if possible, but I'm like, right now, Sharks is doing his thing, and that's my number one concern right now is to make sure this Sharks album, you know, gets finished up and gets done. That's my number one.
And completely understandable as well, because I mean, like at this point, when you're in the studio working on that, this was before Blues Fest and Teenage Bottle Rockets. So, I mean, at that point, you were Young Bucks. So I even remember when we set up the first interview, you were like, yeah, we can talk, but there's not really much new about We Were Sharks.
Yeah.
And then
the only thing I had was that. Yeah. Yeah, fair. That is true. Yeah, there wasn't very much. Like, we were talking about doing new songs, and I mean, they've had a lot of these songs ready to go for a while. I guess I got overwhelmed for a little while with life, and I kind of, like I said, I can't blame any of the guys. The guys were ready to go, always ready to go, and I think I got overwhelmed with everything, and I just needed a small timeout, you know. But yeah, right now it's all on the We Were Sharks stuff. That's number one priority here, to get that stuff out. That other stuff comes out later, but yeah, I got you know, another 5 guys ready to go, so they're keeping my butt in shape.
And with that being said, Randy, aside from the new music and, of course, you know, the tour you just got off of, what is next for yourself and We Were Sharks? Like, is there anything we happen to miss during this evening's interview that you still want to touch on, talk about, or promote?
I think just getting into the studio, getting these new songs out, like that's the number one plan here, having new songs for the new year. And let's there's some stuff in the wraps that we got to keep quiet. But other than that, as soon as we're allowed to say stuff, it'll be out. We'll let everybody know. But our number one concern right now is getting some new songs. It's been a long time.
And I got to say, I definitely agree. But like I said, good things come to those who wait, and we're almost there. The waiting is almost done. So, but I got to say, Randy, first and foremost, man, thank you so much for giving not only myself but the radio station airways a bit of your time yet again. It's always an honor to chat with you, man. Thank you so much for years of amazing music. I've been a fan almost since day one. I can't say since 2011, but I will definitely say since that EP dropped and I heard Bridge Burner. I will admit, like I said, I can't lie to you, but I will say since I heard Bridge Burner, I've been a huge fan of you guys, man. So thank you so much for the 2 interviews and also taking the time in your evening about a month and a half ago to chat at La Chat and take a few pictures with me, my friend, man. You really made his night. So thank you so much for that, dude.
Thank you again so much for having me, man. It's always a pleasure chatting with you. Anytime, like I said, when we see each other, we'll say hi. So, same thing. And hopefully, like I said, I'm gonna hold you to it. Next year, if the Jays go back to the World Series, we'll do a meetup and we'll watch the game for sure.
Hey, you know what? You had me at that because I know the Jays are gonna do it. This is our year.
I love it.
I got to pull the Toronto Maple Leaf talk, man. Except for Jays, this is our year. We're taking it. So watch out, Dodgers. You're not getting 3 in a row.
Who knows? Maybe the Sens will do that. And we could we'll live stream a game. We'll go and we'll do a live stream. Watch the game with us.
I'll do that as well with the Sens as well. So Sens, they hit the finals. Let's go.
Hell yeah, I love it.
Thank you again, Randy. Have yourself a great night, man. And we definitely shall talk again soon, bro.
Hey, thank you very much for having me, man. I appreciate it. Have a great night.